Hello again. Glad to see you back. The poem Car, C-A-R, or Car for short, I had on a back burner for several years. It had been suggested to me that I should do a poem about cars, which seemed a good time. At the time, seemed a good idea, except for one thing. Most of my poetry comes from something I feel very passionate about, and I've never been passionate about cars, or even particularly interested. To me, they're just a tool. I can see where other people get passion, but it passes me by. So I sat and thought, and began creating a jumble of impressions about speed and heat and noise, tyre rumbling, pistons, all manner of sleek and shiny things associated with people's love of their vehicles. But it was all just so much thin air. There was nothing there, I had nothing. I considered it like a Queen song, like Bicycle Race. I played with it and pushed it around in my mind. Still nothing. Just didn't speak to me. I was in my flat down on the Garston foreshore at the time. It's a wonderful place for finding burnt out cars, remnants of their former glory. At one time somebody's greatest treasure, now just so much scrap. I was surrounded by cars all the time, like we all are. I'm travelling in them everywhere. I was even working in one every day when I was out taxiing, but nothing spoke to me. The idea haunted me for years. Just sitting there, pages and pages of scribbled ideas, and nothing even remotely interesting. I'd completely given up on it, until one day I was having a discussion with a friend. I was discussing how everything's relative. The value of an object is in a person's perception. I truly believe this, but like most things, it's a feeling, an idea locked away within you. But it needs to formulate at the right time and in the right place for a connection to be created, for that eureka moment. Nothing has a similar value to me as it does to another person, nor do we necessarily perceive the use of a particular object in the same way as the person standing right beside us. Plastic bag ripped up lying in scrap heaps are just rubbish to me and to most people, but to some women in Africa they're seen as a commodity. They take them and turn them into jewellery and other cosmetic things of value, and very nice and wonderful they are too. Plastic bottles, again, at one point have had a fizzy drink, but when they fill them with sand or mud or soil, and then they cleverly crate them all together, into sort of making big bricks out of them, they become cheap dwellings in parts of Africa. It's happening all the time in every house or garage. We're so used to doing it we don't even consider it. It's not new, it's happened for time immemorial. Old timber structures getting hauled down, good pieces of wood carried away by a man owning a lathe. Instead of it getting burnt or just left to rot, it gets turned into a bowl or a moving wooden toy, a new deck chair, whatever is needed and thought of. I consider this as a customised amorphous recycling, a new life as something different, or a different guise, a change in perception of what it is or what it can become. This was the mindset as I tackled CAR, car. Car is a very much a different beast to everyone who owns it. But they get sold on and on until finally they rust in yards, get crushed, and the materials begin a totally new journey. Even buried in the ground, rusting and rotting and leaching into the soil, it's starting again, be it on an atomic level as it decomposes. So the poem is about how the same object can mean and become something totally different to whoever views or possesses it. They perceive it through the eyes of their life, their values, their likes and their dislikes, as chance would have it. At the time, this conversation was still fresh in my mind. I happened to be trawling through my rants, looking for the next poem I would tackle, and I came across Car. I tend to name my scribbling something very obvious at first, because otherwise it takes me 10 minutes to work out what I was ranting about. So for the first time in several years, I had the scribblings and the perception in my head at the same time. And over the course of an hour, I'd created a framework for this poem that had eluded me for so long. It was a poem about different views, needs, personality and time. That ticking bomb which slowly arose and alters. What better than the accessory which we spend a huge amount of our time and money and energy on. The one we like to think portrays best how we like to see ourselves. So that's Car. You can see where it comes on. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. It's quite a long poem, but I think you'll find it interesting.